I love calling your name, oh Jesus, Jesus, every day. Your name is the same, oh Jesus, Jesus, how I love calling your name, oh Jesus, Jesus, every day. Your name is the same, and call him out, Jesus, Jesus,
how I
love calling your name, Jesus, Jesus,
every day,
your name is the same. Let's call him out, Jesus, Jesus, Jesus,
how I
love calling your name. It's Jesus, Jesus, oh Jesus, oh every day, your name is. One more time, call him Jesus, sweet Jesus. Oh, how I love calling your name. Teach me, Jesus, Jesus, use me, Jesus, Jesus, every day. Your name is the same.
All right. You got these. All right, we'll get ready to dig in to this next one, right on the nitty-gritty of it. Of course, this is a survey that was created so that we can get the response of where men are, in brief. And these are the responses kind of in order of their percentages. And I really want you to look at this and see if you're on this list, you know. I hear you. The statement wasn't even worthy to say, you know. And if you can't see in the back, sexuality, sexual concerns, 76%. Career, college, major decisions. These, remember I said college age and men in general. Pressure to be a provider. Relationships, intimacy, masculinity, gender roles. LDS mission. Interesting about the population pool when you do does anybody know what snowball sampling is? See, that's why you're on when you're doing research, you kind of got to get everybody and have a broad representation. So, for example, to understand it, somebody says 45% of Americans say. You cannot take a small sample population and generalize to the whole world. So it's a brief explanation as to why this is here and certain things. I was interested in that, and I did it during it was during the election season, and I was having a lot of diatribes and conversations about Mormonism and faith, as opposed to Christianity and faith. So that's on there. But anyway, dating, pornography, loads higher as this changes. I'll tell you about that. Depression, dealing with emotions, expectations to achieve success, academic concerns, expectations to marry. Expectations to marry. And some are in this and you've already been married. You're married now. Because there was the expectation to marry. And you're dealing with it. So usually it's codified in terms like, man, I was really too young. And da-da-da-da. Now, let me provide a base for some of this. In clinical counseling, and when I'm in the room with a person, a lot of things go on. And this is where we want to be kind of confessional with some things. When clients come in, there's always this word that we encounter called transference. You might say, what on earth is that? It's simple. It happens in any kind of connection where that person sees in you something that they value, adore, or appreciate. Moreover, like. Well, it's not just one-sided. There is counter-transference, where me as the clinician or therapist is seeing something in that client that I appreciate, laud, respect, or like. And so while we're sitting there, you see where I'm going? Where we're sitting there, it's in the room. This is where most preachers get caught in the fiduciary aspect. And I've dealt with that too, where counseling is set up. You're not acquainted with those terms. All this stuff is going on anyway, and it just happens. And so they're sharing, and usually if it triggers something in you that you're dealing with, transference will pick up. And so I have to be, well, for example, in Edmond, Transforming Life Counseling Center, when I go there and we see those clients, a lot of times people come into the room and just being revealing, since this is men's empowerment, it's quite revealing when I go to supervision and we have to have supervision over who we see. Dr. Murray, how are you with so-and-so? What's going on? Well, I may need to terminate this client. Why? She looks good. And when she's talking to me, I'm identifying with those issues, and if I'm not careful, the surliness of me, will get active, and I'll go to those levels. So that's what countertransference. You have to identify. I have to do this with my supervisor. It is required. It's required by law. Is Dr. Yoshedo Lang here? Well, anyway, Yoshedo is. He and I were at school together. He and I had the same kind of training. That boy's bad. He's off the hook. But you just can't. Transference is going on. We have to own those issues. And so when we're there, and they're asking, what is it about? Because malpractice and sex with clients are the highest. And that's one of the ethics as clinical psych or psych persons. The first ethic is don't lay your clients. Don't lay your clients. Don't. And brothers, there is something about me that I'm wondering, if left unchecked. Brother Rudy Johnson, y'all know him. He said something several years back that I remember. Lord, don't leave me with me. Don't leave me with me. And I borrowed that from him. I still remember it because when the knapsack is folded up and the opportunity of the invisible knapsack can come out, brothers, the only thing that's separating some of us, man, is opportunity. It's not the church. I'm just going to come. It ain't your good Christian values. You don't know enough text. I'm sorry, man. Look, I preach and all that kind of stuff. Man, I don't anybody concerned about your preaching and all that. It's really now I got to live this out. And that really means nothing. As a matter of fact, I contend that it's really more on the rise now of the past 10 years of sexuality, because now brothers can be more virile with Cialis, the daily regiment, as opposed to the 3, Levitra, and Viagra. We're not talking about it's for real. And when was the last time you had that conversation in the church with men? Now you don't have to. It's really, and it's not nothing to be ashamed of. Sometimes it's just the maintaining of sex. Is this empowerment? Why y'all looking like this? Really, it's the and after 40, the maintaining of that goes down. The prowess goes down, and when the prowess goes down, it's kind of like an indirect relationship. You want to see if you still got it. Are there manifestations of the me that desires the flesh that Brother Bowman presented to us? And so Samson, getting his head caught in the wrong barbershop, is It's kind of representative, and I'm not trying to land on what y'all, but it's representative of him flirting with the knapsack. Why? She was giving him what she wanted. So why you think, listen, every brother in here is suspect of this. Listen, the reason why I mentioned that stuff last night, y'all thought I forgot. There are levels to where every brother in here is on. So the knapsack has to remain invisible. And guess who it remains invisible to in the context of relationship with that highest one? It remains with your wives. We don't talk to our wives. But you can talk to that hooker down the street. Look, man, you paying to leave it. I'm just trying to talk real talk. If y'all ain't ready for this, I go on. It's what I do. And why are we saying this? Because Corinth is there. The implications of Paul's letter was the fact that, look, especially in chapter 7, if you're going to hold out on him, y'all need to be having a conversation. In other words, if it's that time, honey, I'm doing something, but you know what? I can't do this now. You see, why? What's wrong with that conversation in the church? The Bible says marriage is honorable unto God. And it told us the bed is. So there needs to be a strong marriage ministry in there that talks about the passions of men and how they swing. Honey, the fact of the matter is, the conversation needs to be this deep. It needs to be this real, and it needs to be this raw. Fact of the matter is, hon, while you rub my hair, I need your hand on my chest, too. Can we talk? Come on, man. I'm dealing with this because it's the highest on the list, and we shut down about it because sexuality is, taboo, but, man, it's so developmental. For some of us, it is a social construct. A social construct. So the idea of at the school when I was at Manuel Arts, what's up, LM? What's up? Went out on a date? Yeah. What you do? And then it becomes a social construct when you're talking with the boys. And then a lot of times we're socialized that way. And what's cold about sexuality is we're more expressive with who you don't know. Why? Fear of the closest one who sleeps with you being vulnerable to your archaeological trenches with sexuality. I'm just trying to go in there deep. I don't know. So if it falls in this level here, and the reason why we did, if it falls in this level, pornography, there is Celebrate Recovery that they have at Memorial Church of Christ and other places that deal with that, and they don't identify the issues, so men can come and have a safe place. You don't have to worry about being put on blast with stuff, and that'll be a good referral to someone if there's Celebrate Recovery in the church. It's not, you can get that. It'll probably maximize you just into attendance and all that. Celebrate Recovery, where people can come on Friday, is a great draw for that. Just trying to give some pointers to that. But when pornography, I said last night, this becomes so insatiable, you can't satisfy it. And that's why there are so many derivatives of it. Y'all come close. Why? Petraeus is not the only one. Do you know, I know that there's, Petraeus, it's the culture. It's just finding out, was that his first time? Heck no, man. He'd been plowing that for a while. But the fact of the matter is, oh, y'all listen to my language. It's just kind of gruff and rough. I'm taking liberty because I'm not in front of them university students. It feels good to talk that way. And so, when I teach human sexuality on campus, I had a parent call me, and I mean no disrespect to our brethren, our white brethren who are in here. I want to be upfront about that. But, you know, it's the black man teaching these kids about sexuality. You should see on the fringes of my classes, I have administrators. They be doing like this. It's wild. And the reason why I'm harping here before we open is because it is big. You know, we're laughing in the trench, but I've identified that there are certain clients I have to refer, and I refer them depending on what they're wearing. This is a men's empowerment. I'm just trying to, if I'm transparent, I'm not concerned about where it is, and it's going to help somebody else who don't want to shout out. That's why I'm doing that. So I have difficulty if the dress a certain way. I know me. Okay, seriously, y'all. Shoes. You know, you start jacking the car up and things get, you know. And all of a sudden, you feel like you want to change tires, you know. I mean, my goodness, you know. It's a men's empowerment. I didn't fly from Oklahoma just to have some little crunchy talk. These are things that I've identified that if she comes in, I'm like, man, you got to go. You have to go because if you start talking, the glance will become a stare. Stare turns into gaze. Gaze will turn into haze. And then it's on the left. It's going. And I've recognized a long time ago, and people from Compton Avenue Church have heard me say this thousands of times when I was out here. There's no way for any brother in this room to fight lust. It's not. It's not. You didn't see Joseph's sister Potiphar. Let's go and just sit down right here by the bed and pray. It just doesn't work. And we all know that. And we laugh because we do know that. And but why is it a topic of conversation? Because our young men are at stake. We don't talk about that. We just want them to get it. Just get it. Sexuality ought to be a component of the church. Paul dealt with it. It ought to be a component of the church. It ought to be a component of the church. You got so many frigid folk in the church. When I say frigid, that's a term that they don't use for women nowadays, you know. And there is a theology of missionary only. Fact of the matter is, brothers need to see things. The variety of twisting. And then you'll tell on yourself if you're with your spouse, and we all should be faithful to our spouses, but if you have history of the number one, and amen, and the other, and all of that, this is going to be worse because if you're here, I'm trying to break this thing down. If you're here, your wife can't be a contortionist. So you're into contortionist sex, so her leg is all the way up here, feet up her head, and that's kind of what floats your boat. And so guess what? You are kind of dismantling the survivability of your wife, and so it's going to express itself. And I contend, some friends at UCLA are trying to reach, I contend that women know when you're balling somebody. They know, I'm using, that term is elder, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to, elder of the church. The elder in the back, brother, I'm trying to, they're overseeing me. So, Lord, help me with my language. I want to be real, but I don't want to be offensive. So your wife knows. Well, she knows. Somebody said, "Man, she does." Yeah. There are in sexuality, it's communication. Every movement, because if you haven't yet to be face to face with your wife, and you have to have her in other ways, it may be suggested that you can't look at her. You can't use her. You got to use the others to get you to the point to where you need to be, which is eventually expulsion, or we would say in the streets, coming, or whatever it is. And that becomes the ultimate goal, where women appreciate that too, but they're noticing the style, the movement. And you all know that y'all read it years before, Venus and Mars and all that. Let me just, the quick synopsis or cliff notes is that they're constructed to style and rhythm. And you communicate that. And so if there's anything remotely different, probably it may point to something. What did you see? Hallelujah to the Lamb. Where did I get that from? Questions are, please, if it's difficult, no question going to be difficult. In 1 Corinthians 7, Paul said, now you join with the harlot. There's an affinity. Y'all look at that text. Y'all look at the text. And then feel free to email me, Murray, I don't see that. And we can dialogue. That's what's beautiful about brethren. But you look at that text, Paul is saying, man, when you join yourself with the harlot, of course in Corinth, there's a temple of 1,000. So when in Corinthians 7, when the woman held out, brothers, all right then. Matter of fact, all right then, if you holding out, I'll go get her and she'll walk on my back. I said that twice this week. You ought to be concerned about me. Huh? Yeah. But why do people deviate to that? And why do senators and mayors, and all of a sudden you find them a scandal, that show that our wives are looking at and they love it. Some of y'all looking at it too. It's kind of depicting. It's depicting that and trying to show you. It's Hollywood, but it's actually showing you that sexuality is strong. Why? Sometimes women know they don't want to know dirty. It's real. So what do I need to do? This is all good. What do I need to do? It's hard as a man. If you're going to be empowered, I go home talk to my wife and flip the script. If you don't, Satan is majoring in the principality of sabotaging your marriage. And so there's a brother, I know at UCLA, he had this article, he presented APA, he called it Horny for Your Wife. Just when I said that, somebody said, Wearing all them doggone, got a scarf that's red, a shirt that's blue, some bloomers going to bed with Bozo the Clown on them. And the fact of the matter is that may not, y'all know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? So that stuff needs to be unpacked. It's invisible. What I want to do now, though, before I move on, is there any question? I know this is an open forum, and I'm not asking, hey, open up and tell me. No, what I'm asking is, what I've said so far, what questions or what are you thinking? Thomas?
What are the, from your study, what are the, I guess some of the ways of preparing betrayal in sexuality and marriage?
Great. What are ways of handling betrayal? Now, this is for real. I have said to the Church of Spencer, everything is related to the Church of Spencer, if Cynthia messes around on me, I'm staying. Right. Does anybody know? I'm saying this for a reason. Because Brother Thomas had asked, hey, look, how do you repair that? There's betrayal. The repair, as you would know, is not easy. But the road to repair is right in here. Preachers and elders and all, we need to be more equipped to address the sexual concerns. They're going to come to the office you know, you ain't supposed to have sex. And they know, duh. And if I needed that, brother, I know that. The fact of the matter is, I can't stop. And so, and then the betrayal. First thing you got to do, Thomas, is the mystery space of how long it's been going on. It's always a mystery. Then you have to also be prepared for the other one to betray on you. The retaliation. And you need to leave the space for that person to feel, especially if she's going to stay. I'm amazed when there is betrayal on this level, and then the wife going to stay. And yet, there's no reparative work. Staying is not going to do it. The work is, we really need to talk about all aspects sexual. Very difficult to do. Very difficult to do. And so repairing it is that person's individual maturity in the Lord. Second question, so I want to avoid it. I'll forgive my wife because I've been forgiven. Come on, be real with this, man. Let's not do this today. Let's not do this today. Most brothers need to let them go on because you've been such a heel yourself. But when it happens to brothers, though, it's different. He asked a real question. I'm not familiar with the newer stat of how many women stay and go and so forth. Men usually leave. The idea of another man, and it goes to this 6%. Identity is attached to, I wasn't bringing it. When a man sees another man, it's different because it's attached to prowess, kingship, dominion. We don't have the structure like women do. And that's generalization. Some do. But usually men will accept it. I'm trying to say something, y'all. I hope y'all are hearing me. You can only give grace when you have been given grace. So y'all rest with that and think about it. So you're not supposed to leave for adultery. You got grounds. I know that. You're going to debate with me. I'm down with it, but you got grounds. Chris, I'm sorry.